What's up, guys? Man Seeking Woman, Season 3, Episode 1. We got a bomb show for you. Let's get it started.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is the intro to the song. This is the whole show. This is dope. It's smooth.
It's way better.
I love this song.
Zach singing along.
I want to see it live so badly.
God, oh my goodness, man Seeking Woman. This just shows the vibe. It's just kind of like eccentric, but like
Yes, it is.
smooth, cool, you know?
Eccentric is the perfect way to describe the show.
Oh my goodness. So Season 3, we're back. Episode 1 of Man Seeking Woman. And we got some new faces, including myself, but I'm excited. I think we're going to have a great show this season. Let's start with the intros. Let's get my man on the far left.
My name is Keith. You can find me all over the internet at Keith W. Black, and I'm alongside Zach.
I'm Zach Schwartz. You can find me on Twitter at Zach is Zach and spell the CH. Like that's the proper way to spell it.
Get those K's out of there.
Make that clear.
Zach is Zach.
Yeah,
Zach is hilarious on Twitter, by the way.
I appreciate that.
I'm not just saying this because, you know, you're my
Appreciate
friend,
that.
but Zach is actually pretty clever on Twitter.
I appreciate it. I've struck out a lot of times. So you gotta swing the bat a lot, but
Not necessarily as good as me, but you know,
it's true.
you guys can
True.
follow me on Twitter. Check the spelling with me as well. It's a little different. It's DeAnJilo. That's DeAnJilo. And then follow me on Twitter, DeAnJilo TV. And then follow me on Instagram too at DeAnJilo. Shoot, you can get me on Snapchat at Platt_EST93. We still got the music going. I guess the engineer loves this song.
I'm
as
fine
much as
with it. I think it's a good intro. And
Got a
I
little
think
bit
that when
like-
you introduce yourself, DeAnJilo, you should spell your name every time. It makes it sound way cooler.
The thing is, I do that every time.
Yeah, that's perfect. I was like, thank you for doing that for me. I appreciate that.
Man. So before we get into the episode, I gotta give you guys got me into Man Seeking Woman, and thank you. All right, this show is like it's really funny. It's so different, and as a single man, it reminds me of the struggle. So, I appreciate it.
Oh, 100%. As a man who does poorly in Los Angeles as far as dating goes, I love this show. And I saw Simon Rich, who created the show, perform at a stand-up show. Kind of looked into his stuff and saw that he had this show on. It was already airing the first season. Started watching it, and I think we started talking about it at work, and that was kind of how things took off.
It's great writing, and we were just talking about it. Not a lot of shows you can dissect, but I feel like we're going to have so much to talk about with this episode. And, I mean, let's just start off with the Tinder date. I don't know anybody's Tinder date who goes, like, kind of that smoothly, but how did you guys feel about that, how it just opened?
I really liked it. I thought it set the table that this poor girl has just such an awful morning, and then it made it so quick for her to say, like, I had a really nice time with this guy. And
Do you think her standards lowered, and that's why she enjoyed it?
I mean, I think that's
or
part of that open is when you are that single and you're that desperately single going around. It's the fact where Tinder is like a viable option. You're like, I'll do anything as long as it gets me out of this norm that I've been in. She can be attacked by a cougar, and then she's sitting across from him, and it's just like, oh, this isn't a cougar. This is magic. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, that's how it is. You gotta take advantage of whatever opportunities because hey, she is very pretty girl. Probably out of my boys Josh's league. But hey, the standards have been lowered. And
Famous is famous.
Attack on it. Exactly. So that was a pretty, like, I was just kind of watching it. I was like, what is going on? Like, who is this girl? Like, but it
the
was
first
cool.
line is dumbass. Like that's the first line in the script. The first line of dialogue, and that just goes to set the premise of what the whole show is going to be about. And rarely in Man Seeking Woman, I feel like, do they ever hit on something that's I don't know whether it's just emotional, but it's that touching moment, like when you are entering a new relationship, where you can have the worst day ever, and then you go on this great date, and you're just in the top of the world. You're like, nothing else matters. You call your friends up just to say hi. You know, like you're just doing it, and you're just like, come on, ask me about the date. Like, come on.
That's so true.
Because you're just so happy.
They nailed it with the morning after, or the morning of them in bed, and
Yeah.
she doesn't want to leave. He doesn't really want to leave. He doesn't want to go to work, and then I thought the next scene of them in the kitchen, and they're kissing, and she goes, yeah, here, take all of the coffee. And then the camera kind of turns, and you see all three roommates just sitting there, because everyone's kind of been in that position, I think.
Well, it's interesting. We don't know if the roommates are single, but I think that might have played a role in them not liking him. But even the perspective, all of us are in production. we're with them first. We're feeling all of that love, and you just, like you say, cut the camera, and they're just kind of like just staring.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, but that's real though. Dating always makes everything better, right?
But come on, how many times have you been the roommate?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
how many, like, growing up through school,
Yeah.
like, and then you're that roommate, and this girl or this guy walks in, and you're like, like, you think the evilest thoughts about this person, and you have no desire to get to know them purely because they're in your space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm single. I'm unhappy. I don't want you being happy.
That's exactly it.
Word. So I mean, yeah, I think we've all been on both sides. What would you guys is like? Do you have specific stories with that happening for you guys? Or?
I'm really lucky right now. My roommate's girlfriend just moved in with us. Just moved in with us, and it's been great. It's been great, and I knew it would be great, but then in the past, when I was in college, that was when it was like, man, what are we doing here? Like, is she gonna pay her rent? The DVR is full of way too many episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians for my liking, and
trying to scroll through, find what you want to watch. But it's also, everyone knows in college that it's that unspoken bond. Like, this is the wildlife when it's in college. Like, you're not allowed to get locked up and, like, ruin my wildlife. And that's what happens. Back in college, I had my roommate, let's call him Brian. That's his name. So, normally that's what we call him.
Hopefully he's not a big fan.
And he started dating. Yeah, there it is. He started dating this girl, and she was a really nice girl. But it got to the point where every time I'd come home, like, I would feel insecure about my antics because she's there. Like, I got to button myself up, and I think that was my biggest issue. I don't want to button up at home. Like, I just got home, and now I got a lady in the house. I got to be respectful. It's my friend's girl. Like, that's a whole nother level.
It's true. Well, we can't ignore the overt Trump connection to that first scene, right? Like, how did you guys feel about that?
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, I just appreciate that that's being weaseled in nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that they're actually going to go ahead and slide that stuff in pop culture.
Well, we got to deal with it now. So.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, exactly.
that's the only way to go.
I thought it was cool because you've seen this play out before in a lot of other shows where the boyfriend's spending too much time there and the roommates don't like it, and
New Girl, I think the whole show is based off around that, right? That's the basis of the show.
And in this one, for them to then call him an immigrant and make fun of him for not understanding The Bachelor and all of that was, I'd never seen a show kind of take that angle at a boyfriend movie, and I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, it was great. And then I love the little tidbit there with the sex vista.
The sex vista?
Because like sometimes you feel like people
Caught me.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like people like will bend how they view society based on how they want, like just how they want to view it. So like, oh yeah, we don't like illegal immigrants, but or your boyfriend coming over, which is like illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
But that's because it doesn't fit our mode. You know what I mean? But then but this one does. That doesn't count because I'm cool with that. So it was just.
But it's also, I think, speaking to just the comedic element of that situation, when you have like, there is that mutual understanding. If you have a roommate and he brings a girl over, but she's staying over for the weekend days, and you can tell they're just hooking up, no part of you is going like, she's got to get out of here, because you know she's got an end date. Yeah, you know, like that's the scary part. It's when you don't know, like, are they gonna always be here? Like that's the fear.
Right. Yeah. So that was really cool. We could go, I guess, to the next scene. And I kind of saw at the beginning, I saw a theme of like just connecting to something in society. Yeah. And it seemed like the next scene, so they finally move in together, right? That's a whole nother conversation because that's dangerous, right?
Yeah, I've never done that.
But it's out of situation, which is, I think I love that segue. They moved from, because the roommates were being so bitter about the whole thing, out of situation, and friends that have moved in. It's the same reason. That's why like the most attractive other person is somebody who lives alone. Because you're like, they're not going to move into my place too soon. They've got their place. We can use this as our like station. This is our base when we want to hang out.
Yeah, well, you can speak to this too, right? You live with your lady, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, give us us the pros and cons, because I have my views of it. All right, and then like, so I want to know, like, give us the real.
Dude, this is like Vietnam flashbacks watching that. Like, I'm like, I was a part of it. You could relate, because that's how it happens. It gets set up where I have my own place. I've lived alone for 8-9 years. And it's that freedom of, you do whatever you want, you decorate your place how you would, just like Josh did. Like, the place is set up to what, like, it's me. That's key. This is key. Yeah, like, it's me in a room.
Right.
And there's a part of that that's a connection to you. So when someone comes in, they say they don't like it, it's like insulting you, whether you need it or not. Like, I have Jenga blocks. I went out to a party a couple years ago, and there was like an 8-foot tall Jenga blocks. And the guy who threw it had some people bring it over and drop it off at my house. And I had this super unnecessary. Like, you don't want that. You can't play it. It's too heavy.
So
Like,
this is your lava lamp, or is this your futon?
Yeah, this is like the futon.
Okay,
And
it's
it's
your
just
futon.
a nuisance. I shouldn't have it. I don't even really want it, but it's because I have it that I don't want anyone else to say that it shouldn't be in the house. You know.
Right.
And so slowly I've seen them trickling away, like block by block, to the point where now I'm like, I don't think I have any. She's like, oh, I'm so glad we finally got rid of all those, those Jenga blocks. I'm like, by the way, you know that coffee table you love? Whew, it's actually more Jenga blocks with a sheet on top of it.
So I've never heard a scenario where the guy is coming in and changing. It's always like that. The female is like, she's changing your life.
Yeah,
when it comes to your apartment.
I think that's the norm. I mean, do you know
I
any
think,
girls
I think
that
as a
have
guy,
had that?
you go in, maybe you're like, there needs to be a bigger TV here. There needs to be
Yeah,
a
it's
little
more-
bit better setup there. Like,
It's more practical
I
for
need,
you.
I need more space for friends to come watch things, and I
Right,
guess
right.
that would be it for me. I've changed my room. I've changed my bedroom to not reflect so much like how big of a sports fan I am. Like I've kind of started to taper it away from that because I'm like, they're gonna kind of be like, what is going on here? Like, did I walk into like a sports bar? What is all of this? So I've changed that a little bit.
Okay.
I was going to say, a smart single man is going to his house. Like my buddy Mike Jacombe, this guy, one of my favorite people, is my brother's one of his best friends growing up. And I went down to his apartment, and he was a senior in college as a freshman, and I saw his place. And it looked like I had just gone into like this little beach resort. Like he had netting over there, like seashells. I'm like, this is really nice. And he goes, yeah, ladies like it. They don't like some like crappy apartment. I'm like, oh my god, like we don't avail. And to go home with the dustbuster, and I'm like, I gotta copy Mike. Like, and that's that's what it has
I
to
have
be.
art up now. Like,
Yeah,
there's some
see?
cool
Art,
things
that's
hanging
the
in my
moment.
room.
Yeah,
You got to. You got to.
That's a painting.
Yeah. Art used to be the MJ Wings poster, and now it's like
You've developed.
art.
You've matured.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I would like to think. I hope.
There's also a thing there where I say there's a difference between guy clean and girl clean, right? Like I will, let's not talk about what my room looks like now, but when I'm cleaning because the girl's about to come over, it still is not up to standard. I'm just picking stuff up off the floor, stuffing it in the dresser, and I feel like if Josh was going to fix up that apartment, it would have taken significantly less amount of time.
Yeah, that's a great scene too that I feel that kind of got overpassed. Is first time she's coming over. They say, oh, we're gonna move in together, and he's like, I gotta clean up. Like that's a great opportunity because, like you said, DeAnJilo, that's everyone does it. You throw the towel over it, you put it in the closet. It's out of view. It's not clean.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
what you can't see.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, like what Seinfeld said. If it's tub, it's love. Like if you're getting in there with the Clorox and you're cleaning the tub, that's you're like, oh, this is serious.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend. She came over and she saw my nightstand. She's like, your nightstand. I was like, oh, you noticed I cleaned it? She's like, no, I was going to say you still haven't cleaned it because there's still like watermarks and things all over it. And it's like,
there, bro.
in my mind, I cleaned it. Like, it's just not covered in Solo cups anymore.
Those are clean streaks.
You take the Febreze and just spray over everything. That's
right.
That's my thing.
Flip the cushions. You're like, it's a whole new couch.
Yeah, it's a brand new room, girl. You get comfortable.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that was another thing. I saw aspects of Breaking Bad in it. In
Well,
that
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
But that was over, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
She channeled her Heisenberg, starts burning all of his stuff in the acid.
She turned
and
into a
shoots the
G.
friend of the dog.
I loved
that.
it. Yeah, no, I was like Lucy. So before this, Rosa was probably my favorite female character, opposite of Josh. But Lucy is earning some stripes this episode. Right?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
One, she's cute, and two, she got all sides, all layers to it. I like that.
Yeah.
Furious. I mean, and we've all been in those situations too. Was that first stage of when you're moving in together, you spend a lot of time, and your stuff starts to disappear. And all of a sudden, she's like, "Well, no, we're doing this. This isn't up to you anymore. Like I'm a part of this. This is happening."
It was eye-opening though for me. Like I had the last relationship I was in, the girl had her friends over, and it took a long time for her to have her friends over to my place. And I was like, it was not a nice apartment, not a nice place. And now in hindsight, I'm like, oh, for sure they didn't come back because of that. Like,
That's definitely.
I didn't think about that, but it was eye-opening.
Yeah.
Eye-opening for me.
We just need a little bit longer, to get to that. Those are nice apartments. Like females tend to they just appreciate it, and now I love it. Like I love it. And you get to see Josh mature, which is the best thing. You got to see his arc as well.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that a lot of times we'll fight the change, but then in the long run we realize it's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, this is nicer.
You
These
was
soaps
right,
smell
babe.
amazing. Yeah, exactly. You're like, I've never smelled so good. I don't know what's going on in that bathroom.
This is not Dial. Like, what is this?
I had I can think of a specific example back in school, like when I was in college, like with my girl, and she would just be over all the time. So like eventually she just started taking shit down and putting stuff up, and it was just like, I remember being so pissed. I was like, what? No, not my Gilbert Arenas poster.
Yeah, like, you can't be taking that down.
Yeah, and so then like I just remember like, I think it was one weekend or a week she was gone, and I was back. I got in my room. I was like, "Damn, it smelled good as hell."
Yeah, you're like, this.
Yeah,
it's so bad. I mean, it's that situation, especially as you get older and you get more accustomed to the relationship, and you start realizing when those moments and those benchmarks start happening, and you'll see your significant other do that. You just sit back and you're like, oh, this is the moment. And I was wondering when this is going to happen. It's now. Like this is when, like when you look around, you're like, it happened before my eyes. And here we are.
One time lapse.
Yeah.
All your stuff in.
You standing still in the whole place rapidly changing.
So the one last thing we'll touch on is Jonestown. Is that what we?
That was Jonestown Massacre.
My boy Mike. All right. So this always happens. You get in some type of fight with your girl.
Yeah.
You go into the homies. Either you got some smart homies who gonna talk some sense into you, or you got this situation where
but you don't go to the smart friends. Like,
no, you go to
you want someone on your side. Yeah,
exactly.
you want the person on your
most
side.
mercurial,
exactly.
Especially if they throw your stuff away, like taking your poster down. Like that's that frustration. You're like, you went like, I gotta hang out with my dumbest, most reckless friend right now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what Josh did, as any smart guy would do. He goes to Mike's place. They're chilling, and he's passing on the bong. And they're cool, and so we get a scene where Josh's sister Liz, she's hip to the whole game, right? She's telling him, no, you gotta get him now before he gone forever.
I love Liz. I love Britt Lower. I think she's so good.
That's
as
a bomb
his sister,
right?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She always kind of the last season when she dated Santa. Sorry to go off track.
Oh my God!
I love
Send
that.
the train.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I think he's so good. But anyway, you were saying she comes in and plays that voice of reason, and I think it's important to have that friend that is like you have the angel on one side, the devil on the other side, and God, you hope you listen to the right one. You don't end up at Mike Town.
I think she grounds the audience to reality as well, because the show does extrapolate these things, these wildish and lavish levels. So it really is nice when you've got that singular character that will always, unless it's oriented around her, will bring the audience back to reality. It's like, okay, this is still based on reality. I know that we just had the whole immigration thing, and this is still a comedy that's, he dated a troll, but she was in that episode was the one to bring it back. No, she's a nice girl, come on, and she brings it back to those realistic conversations that you have, to really bring it home. I think she's great.
Yeah, no, she's one of them. We could talk about that too, but one of our favorite characters so far. But so just to graze over the scene, because it wasn't, I don't think it was too much to dissect, but we go there and we're at Jonestown, for lack of a better term. Bro camp. There we go.
Oh, Bro Temple, I'm sorry.
There he is. So what do you guys think about this scene? How did you feel about just the metaphor, the connection there?
I really liked it, because I think that in a sense, when you're in a relationship and things start to go poorly, you start looking at your friends that are single and not in a relationship, and you start drinking that Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And you start saying like, my life would be so much better as a single.
You're dead wrong.
Yeah, you're dead wrong. I miss eating ravioli alone, watching Seinfeld reruns. Like, I miss that life. You don't.
That's all I need. Like, and that's that base level of all that stuff that you go through that you feel like is frustrating you, and then you're thinking like, I was happy eating a Hot Pocket and throwing the TV on at night. Like, I don't need to be doing all I don't need to be doing all this stuff. And then you see your friends not doing it too, and they're smiling. And you're like, I gotta get me some of that.
And then at the end, you get hopefully your voice of reason, or maybe not. Maybe it is a bad relationship. You need to be out of it, but voice of reason pulls you back in, and everything comes back together. But I like that. I like that analogy a lot, and I think there's some comedians love that, are fascinated with Jonestown. I know some other comedians that are very, I think John Mulaney is fascinated with it. So I loved that Simon Rich threw that in as like a reference. I thought that was great.
And also you got Mike looking like the guerrilla war leader, like up there. I love that he's sitting there and he's got the aviators on with the green, and it's just like the way he's leaning and so impassioned. Like
it's great.
It's perfect.
I wondered if they were going to do like a news hit later on at the very end, like of all these people that have died. But I thought they almost handle it better when he says like, how did that all go? And he goes, not well.
Just deadpan. Yeah. Just deadpan.
I like that more.
I think that it's also the idea was like what his remedy was when the girlfriend infiltrated the camp is, everyone's got to take shots. Everyone's got to party harder. And that's what your friends do is, like, the reaction is if things are going wrong with the girl, the friends are like, well, let's just go get drunk.
Right.
Like,
that's the solution.
That's gonna fix it. Right. Like, it's fine. Like, that's what we used to do. Like, and then it's that moment when he sees that debauchery going down, and you start thinking, I think I'd rather hang out at the couch and watch a TV show with her. Like, that doesn't look fun. Like, that guy's passed out in the corner. Like, I don't want to do that tomorrow. Like, I am too old, and I'm too into this relationship to be dealing with that right now.
Extreme sausage fast food. Like, he wants to be in that.
I guess so. I don't know. Did you have anything that was up next as far as?
No. What do you got to say?
I was gonna say, any ideas what's gonna happen going forward with that relationship?
Predictions. Yes.
Sorry about that. Sorry, jumped the gun on that.
AfterBuzz TV.
Flashing lights. Keith, any predictions?
It was a good set.
That was good.
Well, I think that we've seen, this is the first episode that I think that I've seen recently or within memory that they actually had kind of a positive outcome for him. For Josh, where it ends on a positive outfit. So we've seen this positivity and this relationship growing, and I was honestly shocked that at no point did they cover the abysmal end of the relationship, which I feel like is just ripe with comedy. So if we're not getting some serious references back to how this relationship I think that it's going to go his own space, and he gets to the point where he's frustrated in his own space, and it's like, you're always here type of thing, and like he starts getting mad with the little things that are insignificant. Yeah. And I think that then we get to see that glorious, downward spiral of a dooming relationship.
Because what is man seeking women without Josh being single?
Right?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think it'll be interesting if he is in a relationship throughout the season. One of the things I wrote down throughout it was that this show's been pretty incredible to me in that I've watched other shows where the character gets into a relationship or they're not quite in the relationship, but the whole time you're rooting for them to get into it, and then it's just going to kind of fall apart and it's going to go all over again. Yeah. With this one, I kind of look at it and I see when he's single, I love watching. When he's in the relationship, I love watching. Yeah. And it's like I've never really seen a show where I'm happy on both sides of the fence. Yeah. And normally I'm like, come on, get back together with them. That kind of a thing. So
I think he's relatable across. Like, he was a great casting. I mean, he's relatable to what every guy goes through, and he's just a yuppie enough in those situations where he's like, oh, okay, and everything just kind of happens to him, rather. He never really takes those reins, and when he does, it usually comes back and bites him.
Like tonight when he turned to the roommates and he's like, Megan, top of the Megans here. It's like, I would for sure do that.
And then walk out like, what is that? What was that? What does that mean? Inside of me? Why was that in there?
Oh my God.
What about you? What are your predictions?
I'll say my prediction is that this relationship is going to end catastrophically, of course, right? But I really enjoy, since we're talking about what we enjoy, I enjoyed the flipping to women seeking men every few episodes. So I'm looking forward to what that'll be like, because it's always a really interesting perspective when they see the writing flipping that way.
I think that'd be a great way for her if the relationship ending was her decision. Wow, and him clinging to it. I mean, that's a great thing, to seeing him thinking this is his first serious relationship. Yeah. And then he's just clinging to it and smothering her to death.
Because we haven't seen him do that breakup process since that very, very first episode of the pilot, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's had the girl that was way out of his league. He messed out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so, I forgot about that.
But he's had a couple. He's been very self-sabotaging.
But I mean, aren't we all, until you find that person that's equally as self-sabotaging?
Like I said, it's very relatable.
You're just like, this is a mirror.
All right, well, I think we might be going to conclude. This is Man Seeking Woman Season 3, Episode 1. It was a good start to the season, right, guys?
Yeah, I loved it. I liked it. Hopefully we can get some people in here to chat with us about it.
Hopefully get some guests. Josh, if you want to come on, man.
We're here. Please do.
Please, we would love to have you. Keith, where can they find you?
You can find me all over the internet at Keith W. Black.
And you can find me, again, on Twitter at Zach is Zach.
And you can find you.
Zach. Yo, so I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Firstly, before I sign off, you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, anywhere media is held. If you're going iTunes and YouTube, you can leave comments. We'd love to interact with you guys. We'd love to get the live chat going. We want to get you guys involved in the show. But Again, you can find me on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm going to spell my name just like you guys told me to. DeAnJilo is how you spell it.
Sounds so much cooler.
Yeah, it's very jazzy. It's very jazzy. Shout out to my mom on the creative spelling. DeAnJilo TV on Twitter and at DeAnJilo on Instagram. Thank you guys for joining the show. We are out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.